My name is Jasper Calloway. I'm 32 and I write backend code for companies that prefer their infrastructure quiet, invisible, and untraceable. My sister, Lenora, is 35, Harvard educated, partner track at Whitcomb and Hartman. She walks like everyone's watching, talks like she's always on record, and breathes in power like it's oxygen. At every holiday dinner, the family smiles wider when she speaks. Me, I was the gamer who never grew up. When she mocked me in the family group chat last Thursday, it wasn't new. What made it different was how everyone laughed. The meme was crude, a pixelated image of a man in a hoodie, Cheeto stains on the keyboard, slack-jawed expression, the caption, "Unemployed gamer, calls himself a coder." I was tagged. Twice. Underneath, Lenora wrote, "This is what happens when you reject law school. You become tech support for your own loneliness." Dad reacted with a thumbs up. Aunt Rochelle replied, "LMFAO." Too true. Mom just sent a crying laughing emoji. I didn't reply, just stared. There's a quiet kind of rage that comes when you're not surprised by the disrespect, only by how far they'll push it in public. I left the group chat. No exit speech. No final emoji. Just leave. I went back to work. 1:42 a.m. The office was my kitchen table. The only light in the apartment came from 2 monitors and the blue LED on the fridge. Lines of code scrolled like rain down the screen. An e-commerce site's checkout flow bugging out under load. Ping. An email. No sender name. Just a subject. Lenora _ 1099 _ PDF. My fingers hovered. I hesitated. Could be spam. Could be bait. I clicked. Encrypted. Password protected. Attached twice. Not spam. I moved it into a quarantine folder and isolated the network. Then I sat back, heart beating harder than it should have. I get dozens of contract invoices weekly. Few have this level of stealth. My phone buzzed again. 2:09 a.m. Lenora. Voicemail. 27 seconds. I hit play. Her voice shaky thin. "Jasper, I know you're probably ignoring me. I wouldn't blame you. But I need your help. Something happened at the firm. It's bad. And someone used your name." Used my name? Another buzz. Screenshot. A database table. My name under technical approver. Line item. Van Ridge Consulting, LLC. Date, 3 weeks ago. That wasn't my company. I scrolled down. There it was again. A contract ID tied to my old GitHub repo. The one I made during my 3rd year freelancing. Open source, reusable. Now weaponized. My stomach dropped. I reached for my drive. Plugged in my offline backups. Started pulling metadata from every deployment log I've made in the last 6 months. The table lamp flickered. I turned. Outside the apartment, a black sedan had parked across the street. Engine off. Lights off. Still. I counted. 1 figure in the front. Still. No movement. No phone screen glow. I stepped back. No one knew where I lived. No one but family. I shut the blinds. Locked the deadbolt. Then ran a full scan on my internal systems. A line of my code was executing live right now from an IP address in New Jersey. I live in Seattle. I froze. Hands shaking. Ping. New voicemail. Same voice. "I need your help. And this time it's not optional." She was already inside. I didn't hear her knock. No footsteps. Just the sharp metallic click of my front door catching as I turned from the window. And there she was, Lenora. Leather coat. Blazer wrinkled. Hair tied back like she had sprinted through a storm of her own making. "You left your side lock open," she said. Her voice cracked like static. "Don't worry, I locked it behind me." I stared at her. That's not comforting. She dropped her bag on the table. Paper spilled. Her phone landed screen down. One hand trembled. The other gripped a USB like it was a grenade without a pin. "I need your laptop." I didn't move. I watched her chest rise and fall, like someone who had run out of time. You used my name, I said. Her eyes flicked up. Guilt. Or strategy. No, she said. Someone did. But they routed it through you. Van Ridge Consulting? She nodded. It's a shell. Someone filed it as a subcontractor for my last litigation case. 3 payments went out. One of them tagged you as a technical lead. It's not just a mistake. This was designed. 3 payments from where? She hesitated. From the firm. Through our financial middleware. Which, technically, you helped me patch last year. Remember the version control issue? I cursed under my breath. That's not a patch. That's a backdoor. Lenora pulled out her phone, opened her secure vault, scrolled fast. She handed it to me. Look at this. On the screen, database logs, timestamps, a login, my full name, my alias, my dev handle, access time, 3:47 a.m., IP address masked. The logs were copied into a hidden directory on the firm server, pulled 2 nights ago. You're being set up, she said. My hands were cold. Or maybe just the room. Why now? I asked. Lenora stepped closer. Because I was going to report the anomalies next week. I found one of the partners was laundering. Someone must have gotten wind that I was preparing to whistleblow, and they used you as the leak. I looked at her, eyes rimmed red, fingernails chewed raw. You think they're framing you too, I said. No, they're destroying me. You're just collateral. She didn't say it cruelly. Just, honestly. I took the USB, plugged it into my sandbox rig. File spun. Encrypted folder named Mother. Clever. Classic firm-style disguise. I cracked the preview. Inside, scanned invoices, legal contracts, digital signatures. One of them bore my full name. E-signature. Date stamped. I never signed it. There are 2 judges in here, I whispered. These are active circuit assignments. Lenora nodded. If these payments go public, it's not just a disbarment. It's federal. I turned off the screen. You came to me because you think I can hide this, I said. No, she replied. I came to you because if I go down, they'll bury you too. And not politely. Silence. Then, knock. Not a friendly knock. Rhythmic. Sharp. For fast. Too slow. Lenora went white. We stared at the door. Who else knows you're here? I asked. No one. Wrong answer. I grabbed her bag, dumped it. No tracker. Checked her coat. Nothing. Her phone. I turned it over. Back casing was loose. Slight bulge under the logo. Implant chip. She hadn't been hacked. She'd been tagged. Your phone's hot, I said. I smashed it against the table. The knock came again. This time closer. Window glass shimmered. She backed toward the hallway. Take the drive, she said. You run. I'll stall them. I hesitated. This isn't a story where both of us make it, she whispered. You said it yourself once. There's no such thing as half a conspiracy. Only the ones too late to get out. Go. I didn't move. The door handle jiggled. A red laser line ran along the wall. Lenora reached into her jacket. Revolver. This part you don't get to fix with code. The door slammed open. Masked figure. Black gloves. Gunfire. Glass. Sparks. I dove through the back hallway as drywall burst behind me. My breath ragged. Heart punching ribs. The drive burned in my pocket. Sirens in the distance. My phone buzzed mid-run. A new voice message. Different voice. Male. Come. I know what she gave you. I know what you saw. You have 72 hours to clean it up. Or you both go down. If I go down for this, I'm taking you with me. The sirens were still echoing in my head when the elevator doors sealed shut around me. My shirt was torn, my hands scraped raw, and the USB drive dug into my pocket like a hot stone. I hit the button for the lobby. The panel flickered. Just once. Enough to make the pit of my stomach twist. Someone had been inside the building system. Cut. I pushed out into the cold Seattle dawn. Air sharp. Pavement wet. A delivery truck rumbled past, spraying mist across my shoes. I didn't care. I kept moving. Fast. Down the block. Past the corner store. Past the glass bus shelter reflecting my shape, alone, until I noticed a second shadow behind mine. I spun. Nothing. Just traffic. A jogger. A guy in a hoodie tapping his earbuds. But something in me whispered, "You're being watched." I slipped into an alley and dialed the one number I never thought I'd call again. My accountant. If there was one place they couldn't twist the story, it was my tax history. He picked up on the Thoid ring. "Jasper? It's 6 in the damn morning." "I need copies of all my returns," I said. "Full filings. Last 3 years." Pause. Rustling of papers. "Then, that's a lot of income for someone your family called unemployed." "That's the point." A beat. "Are you in trouble?" I exhaled. Short. Hard. "I don't know yet." Cut. I ducked into a 24-hour co-working lounge using my old access badge, one of those glass boxes where startup kids pretend they're building the future. Rows of empty desks. Blue glow from exit signs. Coffee machines humming like insects. I plugged into a terminal and opened the encrypted returns. 7 figures. Clean. Documented. Every cent accounted for. My pulse steadied. Numbers don't lie. People do. Dad used to say that, usually while praising Lenora for winning some mock trial contest. Truth is simple, he'd say. Complication is what criminals create. Funny how life makes you regret the quotes you grew up with. I drafted a post. Short. Surgical. Attached my verified tax returns. Not the parts showing client names. Those were under NDA. But enough that anyone reading would know I wasn't the gamer stereotype the meme painted. Then I uploaded it. A phrase echoed in my head. If you want the truth heard, you've got to make it impossible to ignore. The post detonated across the internet in minutes. Notifications exploded, emails, DMs, texts from people I hadn't spoken to since college. Memes flipped overnight. Unemployed gamer became Seattle's silent 7-figure coder. Cut. I stepped outside for air. The clouds hung low, heavy. A gull perched on a lamppost, watching me like it knew something I didn't. Footsteps. Fast. Too fast. I pivoted, just as a hand clamped my jacket and slammed me into the stairwell door. Pain shot through my shoulder. The world blurred. A masked figure. Black hoodie. Black gloves. No voice. No warning. I swung blindly. My fist hit ribs. He grunted, but didn't fall. He reached for something, metal glint. Knife. I wasn't thinking. Instinct just took over. I grabbed his wrist, twisted hard. He hissed, dropped the blade, and I shoved him into the railing. The metal rattled. He stumbled. His phone slipped from his pocket and clattered on the concrete. He froze. I grabbed it. He lunged. I kicked him off. The railing shook again. He regained balance, backed up 2 steps, then bolted down the staircase. Fast. Too fast for someone acting alone. Trained. Or practiced. I leaned over the railing. He vanished through the exit door like smoke. Cut. I looked at the phone in my hand. Locked. Streak of blood across the screen. His or mine, I couldn't tell. I pressed the power button. The lock screen lit up, and my heart dropped. The wallpaper was a photo. Lenora, smiling, arm wrapped around the man who just tried to gut me in a stairwell. My vision tunneled as adrenaline crashed into confusion. Lenora, the same sister who showed up begging for help last night. The same sister who cried in my kitchen. The same sister whose phone had a tracking implant shoved into its casing. She shouldn't be with someone like him. Unless She wasn't as innocent as I thought. Or she needed protection from someone worse. My breath was loud in my ears. Too loud. I forced myself to breathe slowly. Think. Distraction. Reveal. Reaction. I pocketed the phone and moved fast, weaving through streets until I reached the waterfront. Seagulls screeched overhead. The fairies hummed. A busker played something soft on a steel guitar, notes like falling glass. I called the only person who knew how to break a phone like this open. Marisol Reyes. My former client. My former friend. A cybersecurity expert with sharper instincts than anyone at Lenora's firm. She once told me, every system has a weakness. The trick is finding out if it's them or you. She picked up on the first ring. You're early, she said. You only call me at strange hours when something's gone wrong. Something's gone wrong. How wrong? I looked at the phone. The blood. The image of my sister. You still do full device forensics. Beat. You're in trouble, she said. Not a question. Yes. Another beat. Bring it to me. Cut. I reached her apartment in Belltown in under 15 minutes. She buzzed me in without asking which door. Typical Marisol. She always knew when danger followed someone. She opened the door, hair tied back, old hoodie stained with coffee, apartment cluttered with monitors humming like a hive. She locked 3 bolts behind me. Put it here, she said, pointing to an anti-static pad. I placed the phone down. She stared at the lock screen. Who's the woman? She asked. My sister. And the man? I was hoping you'd tell me. She didn't smile. She connected the phone to a forensic bridge, typing fast, eyes darting across lines of code as they spilled down her screens. Encrypted, she muttered, but not standard. This looks custom. She stopped typing. Frowned. What? I asked. Her jaw tightened. This phone was wiped 3 hours ago, but the system logs haven't been purged. So, she turned the screen toward me. A location, history timeline, a string of access pings, a name attached to the encryption certificate. My father's. My knees went weak. He was involved. I whispered. Marisol tapped a key. A directory opened. A hidden folder flickered into view. You're not understanding, she said quietly. This wasn't Lenora's attacker. She clicked one file. A voice memo played. Lenora's voice. Shaking. Terrified. He found out. Dad found out. I don't have much time. Derek said the only way out is to disappear. If Jasper gets pulled in, they'll erase him. I have to run before they... Static. Silence. Then Marisol looked at me. She's not running from you, Jasper, she said. She's running from the people she worked for. I stared at the screen. Dad's name. On the certificate. In the encryption chain. My throat tightened. Your father's signature was used to lock this phone's data, Marisol said, voice low. Whoever built this wanted you to find it, but only after someone else failed to stop you. I couldn't think. Couldn't breathe. Dad's retired, I said like it would make a difference. He hasn't practiced since the DOJ settlement. He's out. Marisol shook her head. People like your dad don't retire. They just start moving off the books. Cut. I stepped into her kitchen, splashed cold water on my face. The faucet hissed like a warning. Somewhere behind me, the hum of her servers shifted tone. Data crawling, something moving. You know what they say, I muttered. When you hear hoofbeats, it's probably horses, but in this family it's zebras with tactical gear. Marisol came to the doorway. Do you want the truth or the version that keeps you breathing? I want both. She nodded once. Then you'll need to talk to Nolan Cates. The name hit like a steel pipe. Dad's old fixer? I asked. He's not just a fixer. He's the spine of the entire offshore contracting web tied to Vanridge. If he's still breathing, he's the firewall between the Callaways and federal prison. Cut. We found him exactly where ghosts live. an underground poker bar beneath an abandoned AMC theater in Tacoma. No signage, just a red door behind a crumbling popcorn machine and the smell of stale bourbon. He was waiting. Slick hair, silk tie, watch worth more than my car. "You've grown up," Nolan said, sipping from a heavy glass. "Last time I saw you, you were 8 and trying to reprogram the thermostat." "I was trying to make the house cold enough to shut Dad up." He smiled, then lost it fast. "You brought her files, didn't you?" he asked. "I want answers." "Too late for that." Marisol watched him. Quiet. I slid the USB drive onto the table. He didn't touch it. "You think this is a game?" he asked. "Your sister tried to blow the whistle on a contract laundering pipeline connected to judicial lobbying. That's not Family Feud territory. That's wet work. That's asset liquidation. You saying someone's going to kill her?" I asked. "No," he said. "They already tried." Cut. Nolan leaned forward, eyes colder than code. "The drive she gave you isn't the real payload," he said. "That was bait. Her way of giving you something, if she didn't make it out. But the truth? The part that matters? It's hidden behind a dead man's switch in her financial disclosures." Marisol raised an eyebrow. "What kind of switch?" "Federal e-file portal," he said. She set a timer on her bar license renewal. If it wasn't submitted by yesterday morning, the metadata unlocks every contract she flagged, every name, every signature. I swallowed. "She missed the deadline," Nolan added. "So the files are already out?" "No," he said. "They're being held in escrow by an AI custodian linked to her state ID. Meaning if she's dead, the system goes public," Marisol said. Nolan nodded. "She's alive," I whispered. "Not necessarily," Nolan said. "The system has a heartbeat check. GPS biometric triggers. If they drugged her or took her across state lines, it could delay the activation." "Delay?" I asked. "For 72 hours, he said. "You've got less than 32 left before that switch flips and everyone in those files goes scorched earth to cover their trail." Cut. We left. No goodbyes. No cards. Outside, the rain had started again. Harder this time. Every droplet like static on my nerves. We climbed into Marisol's car, quiet, bulletproof glass, a dash lined with passive jammers. "Where now?" she asked. "Seattle Courthouse," I said. "If there's a kill switch, I want to see what Lenora set it to trigger." "You think she planned for this?" "She was raised by Callaways. We all plan for war, even when it's breakfast." Cut. The courthouse was nearly empty, late afternoon lull. Just a few interns and one disinterested guard checking badges. We slipped into the records annex, found her terminal ID in the judicial filings. Password protected. Retina lock. Marisol had a workaround. She slipped a soft lens case from her coat. Inside, high-res scan lenses. She glanced at me. "Don't ask where I got them." One flash. One click. Terminal unlocked. Her bar license portal opened. Pending. License renewal incomplete. Upload halted. Trigger delay in effect. 29 hours, 16 minutes, and 2 seconds. Files queued. 17 gigabytes of documents. All encrypted. We opened a preview folder. Names. Dates. One jumped out. My name. Again. Under Project Overseer. Another Lenora's. Under Whistleblower Status. Deferred. And a third. Dead. Under Final Approver. Everything snapped into place like a trap. My voice cracked. He didn't just know. He was the one they were protecting. Marisol pulled back. "Callaway versus Callaway," she said. I looked at her. "No," I said. "Callaway v. everyone." The public ballroom was already lit. Crystal chandeliers, velvet chairs, mirrors so clean you could see your panic in 4K. At the far end, a dais. At its center, the State Bar of Washington's annual compliance panel. And standing by the podium, my father, Judge Elias Calloway, in full suit, full charm, shaking hands with men whose skeletons he likely filed alphabetically. I pulled Marisol back. We shouldn't be here. That's exactly why we should, she hissed. If the kill switch ties to biometric signatures, and he's the last approver on her file. I knew where she was going. Then his pulse triggers her silence. We watched. 2 men whispered near the stage. One had a folder marked Federal Oversight Request Pending. The other had a pin on his lapel, DOJ. That wasn't normal. Marisol snapped a photo. Look at their shoes, she said. I did. Military-grade boots. Not law firm loafers. They're not here for drinks, I whispered. Cut. We moved quickly through the west corridor. Behind the staff-only door was the server control for the AV live stream. Lenora's license had been set to auto-display if her biometric failed, if we could piggyback the stream. I keyed in the override Nolan gave me. The screen blinked, then froze. Access locked. Live upload pending. Marisol cursed. What? The server's already queued. Someone else uploaded the drive. From where? She tapped. Scan source. Then looked up at me. From inside this building. That meant only one thing. They didn't just want it hidden. They wanted a show. Cut. Downstairs, someone was screaming. I shoved open the door to the sublevel. Concrete walls. Smell of ozone and old secrets. A man in a suit lay face down near the freight elevator. His security badge read Courthouse Facilities. Shot clean through the back. The elevator was gone. Shaft humming. Footsteps echoed behind us. We ducked. A pair of guards swept by. Radio squawking. But not police. Private detail. No patches. One was scanning with a thermal lens. I grabbed Marisol's wrist. This isn't about hiding data anymore. They're staging a message. Then we crashed the message. She reached into her coat, pulled out a flash drive. What's that? A copy of Lenora's original financials. I blinked. You had it the whole time. She smiled tightly. You didn't ask the right questions. We bolted upstairs. The main ballroom was buzzing. My father stepped up to the mic, cleared his throat. The crowd quieted like trained dogs. Before we begin, he said, I want to address the integrity concerns raised this week. I moved to the side platform, jacked Marisol's drive into the auxiliary AV port. Screen flickered. Cut. The chandelier lights dimmed. On every wall, Lenora's encrypted whistleblower archive lit up. Names, contracts, wire transfers. My father stopped speaking. Gasps. Someone dropped a glass. On screen, project, mother / oversight report filed by Lenora Calloway, pending state review. Then, a file loaded. A video. Grainy, but real. Lenora, in a secure room. Bruised. Eyes hollow. I'm recording this in case I don't make it, she said. If you're seeing this, they already know. And they're watching everyone I ever contacted. That includes Jasper. That includes you, Elias. Gasps rippled through the room. My father went pale. Lenora's voice. I found the ledger. I traced it back. The money, the judges, the PACs, the shell firms. It leads here. Pause. I hope you had a reason, Dad. Because they're going to bury you for it. Cut. People turned to my father. He didn't speak. Didn't move. Then, one clap. Slow. Cold. From the back of the room. Nolan Cates, wearing a smug grin. He stepped into view and said, Now that the family reunion's over, let's talk terms. I stepped toward him. You sold her out. He tilted his head. Not yet. That depends on what you do next. The doors burst open. Federal agents. Guns drawn. Hands where we can see them. Screams. Scrambling. I felt Marisol pull me back. She slipped something into my palm. Her phone. One file open. A hidden clause in Dad's offshore trust. If Lenora dies, she whispered, everything reverts to him. But if he's disbarred first, then she looked me dead in the eye. You've got one move left, Jasper, and it's checkmate. We drove into the warehouse district on the edge of Seattle. Rain slammed against the windshield. The street lamps cast wet halos. Every puddle doubled the darkness. Marisol parked under a flickering neon sign. Old, half-broken, perfect cover. We stepped out, boots hitting concrete, sharp echoing. She didn't speak. I didn't ask. Inside was silence, cold air, rows of old server racks, dust motes floating in the shafts of light. A dead place, not yet dead. I dropped the flash drive, Marisol's escape key, into the nearest terminal. Fingers trembling. The screen blinked. Logged in. No warnings. No timeouts. This was it. Outside, distant sirens. Maybe real. Maybe not. But real enough to mix with my heartbeat. Marisol pulled me aside. They'll come, she whispered, once the upload begins. I didn't nod. I didn't flinch. Instead, I pressed enter. The files started pouring. Contracts, payment logs, encrypted communications, offshore shell diagrams, emails from judges, memos from political action committees, all tagged with real names, real hands, a vacuum humming, the servers whined, the screen filled with lines, numbers scrolling like rainfall. Then, footsteps, heavy, purposeful. We weren't alone. Cut. I yanked Marisol behind a rack. A masked figure appeared at the door. Black gloves, raincoat dripping, gun aimed. I swallowed, lung tight. Marisol pressed a small device to her lips. Coded, hidden, a sharp pulse. Lights blinked. The server racks groaned. A flash, then black. Power cut. Only the heartbeats remained. He stepped in, boots echoing like thunder. Rain dripping from the hem of the coat onto the concrete, tiny splashes. Stop. He spoke through a mask, voice calm, cold, unemotional. No answer. He advanced. Marisol whispered, This is where we tell them the truth. I moved. First punch, misdirection, then a kick. He staggered, stumbled into a rack. Cables snapped. Sparks. A hiss. Smoke. The masked figure raised the gun. Light glinted. Then the servers exploded behind them. Flash, fire, metal twisting. My world went white. Then dark. Smoke. Screams. Heat. My ears ringing. I lunged. Grabbed his arm. Wrist snapped. Gun clattered. I kicked. He fell. Hard. Concrete against skull. Crash. Silence. Red LEDs flickered back. Systems rebooting. The screen glowed again. The upload light blinked green. Marisol hit the final confirm. The ledger dropped into public domain. Immediate blast. Phones buzzing. Emails flooding. Whistleblower sites posting. Journalists pinging. Agencies alerting. Names. Faces. Payments. Proof. Cut. Seconds felt like hours. Then lights outside, the flash of blue and red strobes. Police cars, unmarked vans. I tucked the drive deep in my jacket, checked Marisol, breathing, shaken but alive. I told you, she said, voice soft. Truth is a weapon. I nodded. We walked out, rain falling like applause. The masked figure lay handcuffed. EMTs converged. No cheers, just distant thunder. 2 days later, the world changed. Front pages, broadcasts. The firm collapsed. Politicians resigned. Judges recused. My father, Judge Calloway, disbarred and indicted. But no headlines said, Unemployed gamer gets revenge. They said, Coders can burn the house down too. In a cafe near the waterfront, I sat alone. Coffee steaming. Reflection on the window showed a stranger, different from meme days. Cleaner. Harder. Still alive. Over the cup, I thought. They told me truth would set me free. They didn't say how much it would burn before it did. The call came. From Lenora. No ringtone. Just an email, a link. I clicked. Video dim room. Lenora. Eyes hollow. She looked thinner. But alive. Safe. Thank you, she said softly. I found what mattered. Then the screen went black. No goodbye. No explanation. Just silence. I exhaled. Outside, gulls cried over the bay. Fairies hummed distant. Rain eased. I closed my laptop. Hands trembling. Not with fear. With resolve. I typed a message on my personal site. This is not revenge. This is accountability. Because some codes are invisible and some lies are bright as neon. I hit publish, and for the first time in my life, I didn't wait for their approval. I finished my coffee. Night fell. Lights flickered. The city breathed. I lived, and I built again. Not for them. For the truth.